Today's topic is animal behavior, pattern of behaviors, genetic, neural, and also environmental basis of animal behavior. Uh, in this session, genetic, neural, and also environmental basis of animal behavior. Uh, in this session, we'll discuss about the definition of animal behavior, scope of animal behavior, historical development of animal behavior, pattern of animal behavior, then mechanism understanding the behavioral patterns, application of animal behaviors, and finally we'll discuss about the case studies. Later on, after completion of this whole topic, I will discuss with MCQs as well as the short answer questions related to the animal behavior that will be asked at the final examination of your PhD coursework. So I would like to uh, continue my animal behavior as a topic. The students, those who are attending the lecture, I'm requesting you, if you have any doubt, any problem, you can directly unmute yourself and discuss with me. You are free to discuss, free for the discussion. So the next point is a introduction to animal behavior. Actually, animal behavior, study of animal behavior is called as a ethology. Remember it well. That is called as a ethology. Uh, you can make a short notes related to the animal behavior. Finally, we will discuss about the question paper also related to the behavior of the animals. But you can make the short notes, or we can take the screenshots related to the all these things. Animal behavior is called as ethology. It refers to the way of animal interacting with their environment and other organisms. I would like to stop the video for the certain because you will get I will get a good say it is a bandwidth. Just a minute. Yes. Okay. Okay. It refers to the way of animal interactions with their environmental and other organisms. म्हणजे एकमेकाला कसे रिॲक्ट करतात त्याच्यावरती ते आहे. It comprises all observation, action and reaction of animals in response to the stimuli. Stimuli including feeding, mating, responses like the feeding, mating, communication, migration, social interactions. These behaviors influences by a combination of genetic, physiological, and environmental factors. Scope of animal behavior. The study of animal behavior is interdisciplinary. It is an interdisciplinary field that connects biology, psychology, ecology, and environmental science. The key aspects of scope include understanding evolutionary adaptation. What does it mean? Understanding evolutionary adaptation. The study of animal behavior offer critical insights into the evolution adaptations, which are modification that enhances an organism's survival and reproductive success on its environment. Behaviors such as foraging strategies, mating ritual, predator evasion, social interactions often represent evolutionary responses to the ecological pressure. I think in a at the time of syllabus, you have heard about the behavior of animal and ecology. Behavior of animal and ecology. So in that chapter, we discuss about the when the animal behave, as the animal behave, so that factors affects their genetic makeup of an organism, and these are get inherited from generation to generation. By the examining these behaviors, scientists can understand how scientific trait confirm the advantages in a certain habitats. This approach has shed light on the genetic examining environmental factor driving behavioral habitat, etc. The second point related to the animal welfare and conservation. Animal scope of animal behavior. Second point, animal welfare and conservation. Understanding animal behavior plays a crucial role in promoting animal welfare and conservation efforts. By understanding behavioral, researchers can identify sign of stress, pain, discomfort in animal, enabling better can management practices in captive and wild setting. In conservation biology, behavior studies help in the designing effective reintroduction program, habitat restoration strategies, and meeting human wildlife conflict. For instance, knowledge of migration pattern, foraging habits, social structure can guide the invention to protect the endangered species. So, furthermore, studying behavior ecology highlight the impact of environmental changes on animal population, emphasizing the need of animal behavior serves as a fundamental tool to ensure the ethical treatment of survival of adverse species in a rapidly changing world. So that is a point related to the animal welfare and conservation. So as far as the human applications are concerned, we are going to discuss about the scope of animal behavior. Am I audible to you? One can unmute yourself and tell me the whether it is audible or not. If
Yes, sir, you're.
okay,
Yes, sir.
okay. You are getting me, na? आवाज क्लियर आहे ना माझा?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir, yes. Yes.
Yes. Okay. So we'll discuss about the human application and the scope of animal behavior. The study of animal behavior affords valuable insight into the human life, particularly in areas such as psychology, medicine, and education. Observing social structure and communication method in animal behavior helps to understand evolution of human social behavior, empathy, and problem solving skills. Animal behavior researchers inform therapeutic approaches such as animal assisted therapy, which aid in mental health treatment. आपण नाही का जनावरांच्या मध्ये गायीच्या सानिध्यात या आणि मग ते ट्रीटमेंट घ्या. आता बरंच काय फॅड निघाले बघा ऑनलाईन ऍप्लिकेशन तुम्हाला हे मिळतं पाहायला. जनावरांच्या सानिध्यात या तुमचे बरेचसे रोग कमी होतील. आय एम टॉकिंग अबाउट दॅट पर्टिक्युलर ट्रीटमेंट ऑल्सो. It also enhances the design of the safety urban space. I am also that human application also demand the design of so it is a safer urban spaces by the mitigating the human animal conflict, improves the conservation strategies by the fostering the coexistence. Furthermore, such study contribute to refining technique of training and managing animals for securities, companionship, thereby enriching human animal interaction. That is related to the human applications. Then, ecological interactions, animal behavior and ecological interactions. The study of animal behavior provides valuable insight into the ecological interactions, which are relationship between the organism and their environment. Behavior such as the foraging, mating behavior, migration behavior, predatory prey dynamic behavior, etc., are the fundamental in shaping the ecological system. So I repeat, behavior such as the foraging behavior, mating behavior, migration behavior, predator prey dynamics, also shaping the ecological. All these are the event takes place in the ecosystem. For instance, the human strategies and predator influence the prey population. Can I understand that? Human set is a for hunting. Sorry, hunting strategies of predator influence the prey population. So, what type of the behavior of the prey and predator take place in the ecological system? That is also affect on the ecological interaction or the ecology of the that organism, while population behavior of the insect contribute to plant reproduction. Social behavior like the cooperation and competition among the species determine the source allocation, community structure, etc. By understanding this interaction, researcher can predict the ecological changes, development strategies, and manage biodiversity more efficiently. The scope emphasizes an interconnectedness of life and the importance of the bio behavioral studies in the maintaining the ecological balance. These are the scopes related to the animal behavior and ecology, as well as the evolutionary adaptation, animal welfare conservation, as well as the human applications. Next, we'll discuss about the historical development of the animal behavior. So, before starting all these things, I would like to say the systematic study of animal behavior began in the 20th century, marked by the pioneer works of the ethologicals like Cornard Lorenz, Nicholas Tinderberg, and Carl van Finch. So, Cornard Lorenz, researcher on imprinting in words, in one of the most iconic contribution to the study of animal behavior. Imprinting in form of learning accuracy. I'm telling about the imprinting of in words occurring in species specific, or we can say it is occurring at the specific and sensitive period in the animal's life. इम्प्रिंटिंग होतं त्याच्या बॉडीमध्ये, त्याच्या ब्रेनमध्ये इम्प्रिंटिंग काही गोष्टी करतो आपण. Animal's life, where it form a strong and irreversible bond with a particular stimulus, often parent and caregivers. Lawrence famously demonstrated this phenomenon with grey-legged geese. त्यांनी गीजवरती कसा एक्सपेरिमेंट केला त्याचा एक व्हिडिओ पण दाखवणार आहे मी तुम्हाला. ही ऑब्झर्व दॅट न्यूली हॅच गॉसलिंग फॉलो द फर्स्ट मूव्हिंग ऑब्जेक्ट दे एनकाउंटर, which could be their mother or even Lawrence himself if he was present at the critical period. This attachment has long lasting and influenced their social behavior even into the adulthood. म्हणजे एकदा लहानपणी त्याच्या डोक्यात आलं की ते बरोबर त्याच्या शेवटपर्यंत लक्षात राहतं, गीतच्या सुद्धा, नॉट ओनली द ह्युमन or the other talented animals. Lawrence experiments reveal that imprinting in both species specific and time sensitive, showing how instinct and experiment interact to shape the behavior. His work provided significant insight into the development process of animal, emphasizing the role of critical period in behavior learning. I would like to show one video. Just wait.
Of all life's wonders, few are
Just
more
wait.
fascinating than watching the young, how they first learn of the world around them. Each individual is born with built-in behavioral patterns. Some of these must be developed, learned by experience. What kind of food to eat, what dangers to avoid. Young lions are taught to hunt, young gulls how to land against the wind. In all animals, scientists now believe that the learning process depends upon a combination of factors: innate knowledge and learning from individual experience. In Germany's Bavarian forest, young wild geese respond to an echoing call that has signaled them since birth. They fly not to the call of another goose, but to that of a man, Conrad Lawrence, renowned pioneer in the science of animal behavior. For more than 30 years, Dr. Lawrence has literally lived with flocks of birds.
Okay.
Their world, how they learn, and how they are shaped as individuals. Here in this animal society, Lawrence has discovered greed, jealousy, and aggression, loyalty, and mating relationships that last a lifetime. The work of Konrad Lorenz gave rise to the Max Planck Institute for Behavioral Physiology at Seewiesen. To this renowned woodland hideaway, scientists from around the world have come to study a variety of animals. But most of Lorenz's research still centers on the wild geese. Now it's springtime. The goslings are hatching. By the constant chattering, the young learn to recognize the voices of their parents, and the adults begin to know the sounds of their young. From the beginning,
त्यांच्या पॅरेंटचं साऊंड कसं ओळखतात बघा.
sound is a critical part in the life of the wild goose. Instinctively, the young cluster around the first adults they see, and so learn to identify their parents by sight. They are their protectors, teachers, and guides throughout the first months of life. Accepting as parents the first beings they see is part of the phenomenon known to scientists as imprinting. The look and the voice of the adults are indelibly etched on the young animal's mind. And what is once imprinted can never be erased. It is the beginning of their education, the primary stepping stone of life. In a sterile-looking incubator, much of Lorenz's fascinating work has its beginning. Inside are still unhatched goslings who will be raised not by their natural parents, but by young students of Konrad Lorenz. Christine is the only parent these yet unborn geese will ever
She is a PhD student of Corenzo.
know. While in the egg, they begin to learn the sound of her voice. Imprinting has begun. From inside its egg, a gosling answers. For days, this process will continue. Finally, the
She is training eggs of that geese, and now she.
goslings begin emerging in a laboratory where they will see no adult geese, no natural parent, only the young researcher whose voice they already know. Now begins a second stage of imprinting. Imitating the behavior of a mother goose, Christine begins to imprint her appearance, as well as her voice, in the newly hatched gosling's mind. The gosling responds, making
आपल्याकडे एक अभिमन्यूची आणि चक्रव्यूहाची गोष्ट माहिती असेल तुम्हाला. म्हणजे त्याने अभिमन्यूला आईच्या पोटामध्ये गर्भामध्ये असतानाच श्रीकृष्णाने चक्रव्यूहात कसं जायचं हे शिकवलं आणि त्यानंतर तिलाच्या आईला मम्मीला झोप लागली आणि चक्रव्यूहातून बाहेर पडण्याच्या टायमाला ती झोपली होती. त्यामुळे अभिमन्यूला चक्रव्यूहातून बाहेर कसं पडायचं हे कळलंच नाही. असा हा प्रकार आहे कोरेन्झोच्या. पुढे बघा.
its own distinctive sound. In nature, parents recognize their own offspring in part by their voices.
He is responsive on that stimulus. Now see.
This experiment attempts to duplicate nature as closely as possible. Goslings are never raised alone, and so Christine will raise 3 together. For the first few days of their lives, they see no other creatures but Christine. No other geese, no other human being. She is their source of nourishment and security. The continual sounds between the researcher and the goslings is a form of reassurance. It tells both mother and offspring that the other is near.
Come, come.
Now there is dramatic proof of just how successful the imprinting is. When the goslings suddenly realize that Christine is leaving, they chase after her, as if they were pursuing their real mother. It was in 1935 when Conrad Lawrence.
समजतंय ना? थोडक्यात काय तर एग्ज मध्ये असताना त्याला ट्रेनिंग दिली जाते and they can learn the voice of the parents as per the study of Conrad Lawrence. So I will try to stop this video here. You can watch it. Then next historical study, Nicholas Tinderwell formulated the 4-question framework for understanding the behavior. 4 questions: function, causing, development, evolution, etc. Function. 4 questions. Out of that, first question is function. Adaptive value of behavior. What is the adaptive value of a behavior? He discussed about the function focus on the adaptive value of behavior, investigating how it contributes to an organism survive or reproductive success. For example, bird song may attract mates and defend territory. So according to Nicholas, he formulated 4 questions. These questions are given over here: function, causation, development, and evolution. Function. What are the adaptive value of behavior? Did functions focus on the adaptive value of a behavior? Interesting how it contributes to the organism survival or reproductive success. For example, bird song may attract the mates and defend the territory. You are familiar about the singing of bird, interaction of the birds, interaction of the animal. They can produce the song and they can interact with one another for the purpose of the function. It may be mating, it may be food, it may be defense, etc. Second question related to the causation, mechanism behind a behavior. What is the mechanism behind the behavior? That is called as a causation. Causation examines mechanisms behavior such as hormonal, neutral mechanism, environmental triggers. For instance, the role of daylight in stimulating the bird migration. So the cause of the migration, we can say it is a mechanism of migration is a mechanism of the behavior is also important. And the third question, development, how a behavior develop over a time. Again, the question arises, once it is get learned, whether it is developed or the not. So development consider how a behavior develop over an individual's lifetime, influencing by the genetic predisposition and learning, like how young birds learn to sing. कसे लहान लहान पक्षी आपलं गायला शिकतात किंवा कसं जेनेटिक त्याच्यामध्ये हेरिडिटी वगैरे कसं आहे ते आपण बघूया. Then again the fourth question is evolution. How behavior evolves from one generation to another generation. Evolution explores the historical progression of the behavior, tracing its emergence and modifications over generations, shedding light on the why certain behaviors persist in a species. Tinberger's question emphasizes that understanding behavior requires a holistic approach that integrate multiple dimensions. I would like to show again one more video related to these 4 questions. Now listen.
Why do birds sing?
You can adjust your mobile volume.
Because their parents taught Maybe it's because they have a syrinx?
It's a larynx.
In 1963, this guy, Nico Tinbergen, published a very important paper called On Aims and Methods of Ethology. The paper describes how there are many different and complementary ways for explaining why creatures behave the way they do. If you want to understand why something is the way it is in the living world, you can start by asking Tinbergen's 4 questions. Nico Tinbergen's 4 questions.
He's a Tinbergen.
Tinbergen's first question is about function. What is the trait there to do? In birds, the function of the song is usually to attract mates. Singing helps a potential mate to find you, and the loudness and quality of your song indicates your potential as a parent. In general, the function of a trait is a description of how that trait improves fitness. A trait's function is what it does to ensure the continuation of the lineage. Tinbergen's second question is about development. How did the trait come to be? In many birds, song development occurs during a sensitive period right after hatching, where the chicks learn to mimic the song of their parents. We know this from experiments where the chicks are removed from their parents early on, and then their song develops in isolation. This chart shows the song patterns of 2 finches. This one's song developed normally, but this song developed without parental input. In general, the development of a trait is the process that an organism must go through in order for the trait to be expressed. Developmental histories can vary, and so we can't know why a trait is the way it is unless we understand how the trait came to be there. Tinbergen's third question is about evolution. What is the phylogenetic history of the trait? Was it present in distant ancestors? Here is a phylogenetic tree that maps different song patterns in orioles. What you can see is that these song types aren't distributed randomly. They're clustered here and here. So what we can say is that these birds have the songs that they have because their ancestors did. It's important to note here that the evolutionary history of a trait is different from its current function. Vestigial traits, like my appendix here, don't have a current function. I have an appendix only because my ancestors had an appendix. Tinbergen's fourth question is about mechanism. How does it work? In birds, song gets produced with a special organ called the syrinx, which is located close to the branching of the lungs. Because the syrinx is connected to both tubes, birds can actually emit 2 unique sounds at once. In general, the mechanism of a trait is a story about the pushes and the pulls and the other physical causes which are responsible for the trait's structure. Unless we understand the mechanism, we won't be able to know why a trait takes the form that it does. However, just understanding mechanism won't get us very far. We need answers to all 4 of Tinbergen's questions if we're to really know why a trait is the way it is. Well, there you have it. Tinbergen's 4 questions for understanding biological form are function, development, evolution, and mechanism. What these questions show is that there are many different ways that we can explain living systems, and these different explanations are not mutually exclusive. In fact, they're complementary. It's only by taking a variety of perspectives that we can gain any truly meaningful understanding of the biological world within which we are embedded.
Just a minute. समझ लगा? Then Carl von Fish. Carl von Fish, a renowned Australian ethologist, ethology means animal behavior, ethologist, made a significant contribution to the study of animal behavior, particularly in understanding how honeybees communicate. I think you are the zoology students, most of the you are the zoology student, you are familiar about the honeybees or the social bees and how they communicate with. His most famous discovery was the waggle dance of the honeybee. It's a unique and sophisticated behavior used by the honeybees to communicate the location of the food sources to other bees in a colony. The waggle dance involves the pre-forming a series of movements including waggle or the shaking of the body while moving in a figure 8 pattern. The, the direction of waggle indicates the direction of the food sources relative to the sun, while the duration of waggle tells the distance. This means bees can effectively inform other bees about where to find food, how far it is, and in which direction. कसं केलं जातं बघा, honeybees how to find the food. We can understand it. The direction of the waggle indicates the direction of the food sources relative to the sun, related to the sun, while the duration of the waggle tells the distance. This means that bees can effectively inform other bees about where to find food, how far it is, and which is the direction of the food. So, which work was said is a groundbreaking because it provides clear evidence that animal, even insects, not only higher animals but also insects, could have a complex form of communication. Before his history, it was widely believed that animal did not possess such sophisticated communication system. Animalला काहीच कळत नाही असं लोक म्हणायचे त्यावेळेस, पण तसं नाही. फ्रिशने काय सांगितलं, इट हॅज अ clear, it provides a clear evidence that even insect could have the complex form of the communication. He found demonstrated that bees use their sense of sight, their ability to detect the polarization light pattern in the sky of the navigate and communicate the distance of the sources. So these are the things related to the Carl von Francis, and he discovered a milestone in the field of animal behavior and was a key development in the study of animal communication. For his work on the bee behavior, the waggle dance, von Frisch was awarded a Nobel Prize in Physiology and Medicine in 1973. He is a Nobel Prize awarded scientist and shared with the uh, Nobel set is a Correns and Nicholas Tingerberg, uh, who was who also made a groundbreaking contribution in the ecology. हे तिन्ही तसेच आहेत ते. His research contribute to inspire the studies of animal communication and cognitive ability of the insect. So I would like to show how the bee communicate with the help of the waggle dance and how they can detect the food source.